Welcome to Global Affairs. In what has turned out to be the largest and most profound incursion since Moscow started its full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, Ukrainian troops have penetrated up to 30 kilometers inside Russia. As the Kursk region offensive reached its sixth day, the Russian Defense Ministry reported that its forces had fought Ukrainian troops close to the villages of Tolpino and Obshchi Kolodez. The spokeswoman for the Foreign Ministry, Maria Zakharova, charged that Kyiv was intimidating the peaceful population of Russia. In an address Friday night, President Volodymyr Zelensky, who had previously denied the attack for the first time, stated that Russia had carried out 2,000 cross-border attacks from Kursk this summer. Weapons such as artillery, mortars, and drones. Mr. Zelensky stated in his nightly address from Kyiv that missile strikes are also documented and each one warrants a just reaction. According to a high-ranking Ukrainian official speaking to the AFP news agency, there are thousands of troops involved in the operation, surpassing the limited incursion reported by Russian border guards. Even though Ukrainian-backed sabotage units have carried out sporadic cross-border raids, the Kursk offensive represents the largest coordinated assault on Russian soil by Kyiv's conventional military forces. We are taking the offensive. The goal is to extend the enemy's positions, cause as much harm as possible, and to disrupt the situation in Russia since they cannot defend their own border, the official mentioned. Russia's defense ministry announced that on Sunday, their forces successfully prevented enemy mobile groups with armored vehicles from penetrating deep into Russian territory. However, the defense ministry acknowledged that Ukrainian forces have moved far into the Kursk border region, as they were engaged near the villages of Tolpino and Obshchi Kolodez, approximately 25 kilometers and 30 kilometers from the Russia-Ukraine border. Video clips that have been circulating online and confirmed by the BBC also seem to depict a Russian attack close to the village of Levshinka, approximately 25 kilometers away from the border. Ukrainian soldiers have reported seizing several towns in the Kursk area. In Guevo, a village located approximately 3 kilometers inside Russia, soldiers recorded themselves taking down the Russian flag from an administrative building. Footage has also surfaced showing Ukrainian soldiers taking control of government buildings in Sverdlikovo and Poroz, with reports of heavy combat in the town of Sudzha, which has a population of around 5,000. Ukrainian soldiers have already recorded themselves outside Sudzha at a significant gas plant that plays a part in transporting natural gas from Russia to the EU through Ukraine, which has not stopped despite the ongoing conflict. BBC journalists observed a constant flow of armored vehicles and tanks heading towards Russia in Sumy region, which shares a border with the Kursk region. The armored convoys have white triangular symbols, appearing to differentiate them from equipment used in Ukraine. At the same time, aerial photographs seem to indicate that Ukrainian tanks are fighting in Russia. Images reviewed by BBC Verify also seem to indicate that Russia was building new defense structures close to the Kursk nuclear power plant. Ukrainian troops at Obshchi Kolodez were only 50 kilometers away from the facility. Comparing satellite photos taken yesterday to ones taken a few days ago shows multiple recently built trench lines near the plant, with the closest one approximately 8 kilometers away. Russia reports that 76,000 individuals have been moved from border zones in the Kursk region, where local officials have announced a state of emergency. Alexei Smirnov, the acting governor of the region, reported that 15 individuals were harmed on Saturday night when the remains of a Ukrainian missile that was shot down landed on a multi-story structure in Kursk, the capital of the region. Ukrainian MP Oleksiy Goncharenko praised the operation, stating it brings us closer to peace more effectively than 100 peace summits. He told the BBC that the only way to make them stop the war is when Russia defends its own territory, and when Russian people are fleeing and showing concern. The Kursk offensive follows weeks of Russian progress in the eastern region, with the Kremlin's troops seizing a series of villages. Some analysts have suggested that the Kursk attack is part of an effort to force Russia to redeploy forces away from eastern Ukraine and relieve pressure on the beleaguered Ukrainian defenses. However, the Ukrainian official informed AFP that there had been minimal decrease in Russian activities in the eastern region so far. Earlier in the week, Russian President Vladimir Putin referred to the offensive as a significant provocation. In the meantime, authorities in the Kyiv area reported that a man and his 4-year-old son died in a missile attack near the capital during the night. Air Force officials stated that 53 attack drones out of the 57 launched by Russia were also destroyed by air defenses during the overnight airstrikes. They reported that 4 missiles made in North Korea were also launched in the attack. Russia has been forced to turn to the isolated Asian state to restock its munitions, with the US alleging that vast amounts of military hardware have been shipped by Pyongyang. Elsewhere, Russian officials in the occupied Zaporizhzhia Oblast said a fire broke out at the region's nuclear power plant on Sunday. Yevgeny Belitsky, the Kremlin-installed governor of Zaporizhzhia, claimed the fire erupted after shelling by Ukrainian forces. He said there had been no radiation spike around the plant. Russia's state TASS news agency reported that the main fire at the plant was extinguished in the early hours of Monday. The International Atomic Energy Agency, the UN's nuclear watchdog, noted in a statement on X that its inspectors had observed strong dark smoke to the north of the facility, but stressed that there was no reported impact on nuclear safety.